starting today, make a decision right now, in this moment, to stop paying attention to the voice on the left that says, no, I can't. Who am I to deserve this? How is this possible? And start paying attention to the person on the right that exists inside every single one of us. The person that believes in your potential. That doesn't settle for mediocrity. That reaches for the stars and achieves things beyond your expectation. Give yourselves another round of applause. I want to share with you the story of how I got to the point where I'm up here talking to everybody about this program. So for me, it started 14 years ago when I got the most fantastic news that a young person can get. My wife and I learned that we were going to become first-time parents. And we'd stay up late at night, and we'd be talking about what our lives were going to become. Were we going to have a boy or a girl? Was the child going to be short or tall? Where were we going to end up living? What was life going to be like? And every single one of those discussions ended the same exact way. As long as that child is healthy, that's all that matters. One day we went to a routine doctor's visit, and we found out that everything wasn't going to be okay. Something went terribly wrong. And the doctor advised us that we should immediately terminate the pregnancy. And that if we decided to continue, not only was our child's life at risk, but that my wife's life was at risk as well. So I took my wife by the hand, we left that office, and we eventually, a few days later, ended up at the NYU Medical Center, where we would spend the next 4 months of our lives. Now, I was pretty much born in New Jersey. So I know a lot of you guys go to New York every day, but to me, that was like a foreign country. During this time of emotions and ups and downs and this crazy emotional roller coaster, when I would show up in the morning to visit her, everything was going to be okay. It looks good today. And then by the afternoon, it's like, things aren't going so well. Looks like there might be an emergency delivery today. So it was this up and down, and up and down. And you know how I dealt with that? I dealt with it with food. And I discovered this place called Essa Bagel that has the most gigantic bagels on earth. They're like this big. But what's even better than that is all the crap that they pile on top of it. And I loved it because I'd wash it down with a soda. And with every single bite, my problems in the hospital seemed to go away. And I'd walk back to that hospital happy. I found the 2nd Avenue Deli. Absolutely amazing. But the favorite place of them all was a place called Pizza and Pita. And why it's my favorite place? It's absolutely the best place because you could go to the counter, order a slice of pizza. God's honest truth, you guys know it's true. The pizza, a slice is about the size of a pie. It's like huge. And it's better than the pizza in New Jersey. And it's great because I get a slice with pepperoni, a slice with sausage, wash it down with a soda, and then I have to leave the damn place. I just walk up to the counter and get a pita. In the same damn place. Wash it down with a soda, problems seem to go away. One day I go through my routine, and I show up to visit my wife, and she's not there. She's not in the room. So I go to the nurse's station, they tell me, your wife's in labor and delivery, don't worry. Everything's going to be okay. She's not delivering right away, but go down there. We'll see what's going on. So I walk into the room, and I'm pacing like I am today. I'm walking around like this, pacing, and the doctor says to me, you got to get the hell out of here. You're making us all nervous. He goes, go get something to eat. That's what I did. I went and got a gigantic corned beef sandwich. And I'll never live this down either. My wife's like, remember when I had the baby and you were eating the corned beef sandwich? So I went and got a gigantic corned beef sandwich. And literally, with every bite, my problems seemed to go away. With every sip of the soda, my problems seemed to go away. I made my way back to the room, started walking back. When I got to the floor, and I see the blue light blinking on top of the door, I see the nurses and the doctors that we got to know over the past 4 months running in and out of this room. And I knew something wasn't right. As I went to go in the room, they pushed me out. They said, you can't come in right now. We have to deliver right now, this second, cesarean section, right here in the room. We can't even go to an operating room. So I stood outside the door, and right behind me were the healthy babies. And I was thinking to myself, how could this be? How are we going to come out of this as a family? How are we possibly going to move forward? How are we going to pull our lives together after all of this? After our surgery, after all this waiting, after the hoping, after the dreaming, after all this, how are we going to be okay? And then I turned and looked at the healthy babies. And in that moment, it seemed like a year, but it really was a minute. I thought to myself, if everything turns out okay, I promise that I'm going to be the best parent that I can be. If everything turns out all right, I'm not only going to be the best parent that I could be, I'm really going to set an example for the kids in my karate class. I'm going to really just be the absolute best example, set an example for the kids in my karate class, for the kids in my community, and I am going to be the absolute best person I can be. I absolutely 100% promise this. And in that moment, I turned away from the healthy babies, looked back towards the room. The nurse came out, and she says, come on in and meet 2-pound baby Elijah. So I remembered that promise. And it was a long 2 years. You know, the first 2 years he was a preemie. He was only 2 pounds. It was a long 2 years. But I remembered that promise. And I had it in the back of my mind at all times. And it would pop up there every now and then. And I would start working towards it. I would join a gym. I would buy a book. I would buy a DVD. But every single time, I would fail. I would start working towards setting a better example. I would start working towards being a better person, doing everything I can to set a good example. But you know what the problem was? When I woke up and when I got in my car and went to the gym or did whatever, this is still what I look like. Turn your head quickly. I didn't realize it at the time, but truth is, when I was settling for the way that I looked on the outside, I was also settling for the way that I felt on the inside. And I truly was settling to be less than I could be. And there was no way that I could keep that promise to my son and promise that I made to myself to be the best that I could possibly be and set an example. There was no way, because I didn't have the confidence to really go after my dreams the way that I would want my child to. We all tell our kids, try your best. Be all that you can be. Give it your all. I was always on the sidelines, yelling to run faster, go after the ball, kick it in to get a goal, whatever it is, right? But you know what? The message doesn't come across that clear when you're telling your kid to practice or study or to work hard when you're settling. And I knew that deep down inside. And I knew that I wanted more. But every single time one of my friends would ask me to work out with them, I would think, what if? Every single time they would ask me to go on a run with them, I would think, what if? What if I do this little 5K with them and I'm running, and I come in dead last. Like, I see these, like, 90-year-old people doing 5Ks. Like, what if, this was going to my head, what if I come in behind the 90-year-old guy, and that gets on TV? Like, 90-year-old man completes 5K, and I'm coming in behind him. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, what if I take the karate class with a bunch of beginner white belts, and I pass out in the middle of the class, and I'm lying there, and they have to revive me and pull me off? I held up a facade and settled to be less than I can be because I was afraid of facing the what-ifs, and I was afraid that if I tried to step out of my comfort zone, that people would find out who I really was inside, and I would lose everything. I would lose their respect, I would lose my students, I'd lose everything. So one day, we have a little workout, probably about 12, 13 people are there, and I was conveniently leading the workout as always, because someone's got to lead it, right? Someone's got to be in charge. Someone's got to tell everybody else what to do. I got to lead this darn thing. That kind of got me out of the workout part of it, right? So I'm leading the workout, and afterwards we go out to eat like usual, and we're sitting around the table, and the waitress asks for our drink orders. She asks me first, and I said, I'll have a Coke. Then she goes to the next person, they order a water, and the next one a water, and the next one a water, and the next one a water. And all of a sudden, in my mind, I start seeing all the athletes in the room ordering waters. All the people who are my karate students ordering waters. And I ordered a Coke. And in that second, I called the waitress back. And I said, waitress, can you please get me a water rather than a Coke? And it wasn't that decision that was most important. Although not drinking Coke is a pretty damn important decision. And I hope that nobody in here ever drinks Coke again. And I mean that. I hope that nobody ever drinks soda again. Ever. Not a freaking sip of it? Yeah, sure. Not a sip, not even sip, not a taste. I hope nobody drinks it again. But the most important decision that you can make right now is to finally raise your standards. To draw a line in the sand and to step over that line and decide to rise up to your potential. To not give in to all the people that want you to buy crap that serves their vision for their life. Because they need X million, bazillion number of people to buy a friggin' can of Coke so that they could put fuel in their jet plane this month. So the point is this. Right now, this moment, raise your standards. Expect more from yourself. Just like that second when I ordered the water rather than the Coke, those people in that room, those 12 people, that was the catalyst that brought me to a new level, that made me understand, that gave me the confidence to finally rise up and truly start working towards that promise that I made to my son and to my family. And it was even bigger than that, to the community of karate students. And made me realize that inside I had potential to make a difference in my life. And not only my life, but the life of the people in my family. And not only their lives, but the lives of the people in the community. And then I started to realize it was bigger than that. The people in the state, the people in the country, and ultimately, the people in the world. Each of us has that same potential. Because when you step over that line today, and you make the decision right now, in this moment, to take your life as serious as possible, to follow your dreams, to go for this program 110%, because it might lead, and most probably will lead, and will actually definitely lead to something bigger for you if you follow it 100%. When you do that, the people around you are going to notice. Your family's going to notice. Your friends are going to notice. The people that you work with are going to notice. And as you continue on that path, guess what? You're going to inspire them. And before you know it, someone's going to come up to you and say, thank you. I saw what you did for yourself. And I decided that I was going to start exercising, that I was going to start taking myself a little bit more seriously. I'm not going to say it exactly like that. They're going to tell you that they can start to exercise and eat better. From this day forward, don't let people pull you into their world. You know the saying, misery loves what? Company, right? Don't let people pull you into their world. You pull them into your world. And people eventually are going to thank you for it. Unknowingly, you came in here to look better in a bathing suit or to get a little bit more energy, but unknowingly, when you follow this, you're going to inspire the people around you, and you're going to make a difference in the world. You're going to surprise everybody around you. But I'm telling you right now, the most important person that you're going to surprise is, guess who? Yourself. Clap it up for yourselves for making that decision. Now I'm going to tell you the truth of the matter. I did it. I made that decision. I woke up on Monday and I decided, and I took action. It wasn't just in my mind anymore. Now I got to take action. I got to make it happen. And in 3 short 10-week sessions, I went from this to this. Yes, completely hairless.
Shave your hair.
Didn't shave, fell out. But it's not, and I'm telling you this from the bottom of my heart, it's not what you look like on the outside. It's not what you look like on the outside. It's how you feel on the inside. It's the ability to really think big. It's the ability to really take consistent daily action towards your goals. And to recognize that when you do battle with the what ifs in your mind and make an amazing transformation on the outside of your body, you're developing a mindset. A mindset to take a step forward in the face of adversity. Every time that a challenge is put in front of you, you have a choice. Like the challenges in front of you right today. You have a choice to take a step backwards or take a step forwards. But I can tell you this, that every time someone would say to me, why don't you go running with us? And I'd say, no, not today, I'm just not into it, whatever. Step backwards, right? They'd say, why don't you participate in a karate tournament with us like we used to do, train in karate? No, not today. Take another step backwards. Every time I took a step backwards, I was reinforcing the habit of backing away from my goals and my dreams. But the moment that I started taking a step forward, that became a habit too. To the point where somebody would say, do you want to do a karate tournament with us? And I would say, yes. And I knew I was on track when the lump of the throat comes back and the butterflies in the stomach. They would say, do you want to do a half marathon with us? And I would say, yes. And I'd follow through with it. The lump comes back and the butterflies come back, but you do battle with it. That's the greatest hope for this program. That one by one, we not only change the way we look on the inside, on the outside, but we change the way that we feel on the inside. And that we realize our potential to make a difference for ourselves and the people around us is far beyond what any of us has imagined. This program will be the catalyst that helps you to recognize that potential and not only transform your health and your fitness, but to discover the energy that it takes to really go after your dreams. Give yourselves a round of applause.